PJNet Live. It is Wednesday night, a doubleheader tonight. Glad you're here to join us live. And we have a bumper rolling. We've got the beautiful beach background installed in our studio. We have Lori Hayes standing by. Michelle Medlock Adams up at the bottom of the hour. We will switch to Studio 6 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Jamaica, man. Hey, how you like that, huh? The PJNet studio has been transferred to the beautiful beaches. Now, actually, our guest is a fan of the beach. He is also a fan of wild horses, and I didn't get any pictures of wild horses. Before we get started, I'll bring Lori on board, but I want to say a special welcome to Lori's mom, Marilyn, in the chat room. Thanks, Mom, for supporting your wonderful daughter, who is now live on PJNet. Lori, I am stunned, and just the pictures that you have in the background. Did you take those just for tonight's appearance? You did,
absolutely.
Didn't you? Yeah, you did. You love horses.
I do. The one over there, that was actually taken on the North Carolina coast. And then the other two pictures are when I went to Hawaii last year for a conference.
And brought a dog back.
But that's another story for a different day.
We are going to hear that story. Not tonight, but you will hear the story live on PJNet. Now, Lori, we crossed paths way back in August at the North Carolina Christian Writers Conference, and you were there. Are you one of those conference junkie types?
Well, I've been to about 10 of them, so I don't know if that qualifies as a junkie.
It does. You're addicted. Yeah.
Although I've been writing for 11 years, so that's not too bad.
Well, why do you go? I mean, I can understand going to the first one. Tell us about the first one, and then why'd you go the other 9?
Let's see. I wanted to learn. I wanted to take workshops. I wanted to learn as much as I could about the craft of writing. And then at some point it transitioned over to where I wanted to start pitching and learning. And then I decided to self-publish. So I stopped actually going to the conferences for a little while. And then I started back up because I'm on a mission to be traditionally published. And so my main goal to going to these conferences is so that I have an opportunity to pitch to agents and editors. Mm-hmm. But I still attend classes whenever I can. And I still get the audio tapes so that I can learn and not have to worry about missing the classes.
That's good. That is excellent. You know what? I'm not a writer, and I go.
And what do you learn?
I learn how to meet fantastic people like, Lori Hayes, world-renowned Christian writer, formerly a blogger. Are you ever going to start blogging again? Is that on your radar?
It's on my radar. It's only been a year.
Has anything happened that you can tell us about in that year before the blog comes out? Well, if you had to write a blog tomorrow, what would you write it about?
About this experience being on PJNet Live.
Okay. Well, I will be watching your blog, and we will... I'm amazed, Lori, and it's not just you, it's several other wonderful Christians. Soldiers of a different kind, writing the word. And I'm proud of you all of you. But especially in your case, and each of you have a different little knack. And wild horses, you have this place you go where there's actually wild horses, and it's near, you don't have to go out to Oklahoma or Texas or Montana or anything to do that.
No, it's right off the North Carolina coast. And my mom actually lives in Beaufort, North Carolina. And I've been riding horses since I've been in 3rd grade. But when she moved to Beaufort, or even down in that area, she was on Swansboro first, then Emerald Isle, then Beaufort. And I learned about the wild horses, and I made her take me out there on a ferry ride and spend the whole day with me while I looked at these wild horses, took pictures of them. We hiked half that island just about. And I've been addicted to them ever since. I absolutely love them. They're beautiful. There are about 120 wild horses on that island. Actually, right now there are about 110. but they fluctuate between 110 and 120. So, and then they actually manage the herd by darts, birth control darts, to keep the population where they want it. But the more I go out there, the more I just love it. I take a day pack, put my camera in there in a plastic bag in case it rains on me or gets wet for whatever reason. I pack a lunch, pack some water, pack some sunblock and some snacks, and off we go.
Now, I don't know a thing about wild horses. Can you get close to them?
You're supposed to stay 50 feet away from them, which is about the length of a school bus. So when
But they'll let you get that close? The horses will let you get that close?
Yes. I mean, they're used to seeing people, but they are still a wild animal, and you still need to respect them. So when I take my pictures, though, I have a 300 millimeter zoom lens on my camera, and it looks like I'm right up on the horses, but I'm actually probably a good 150 feet away usually. Mm-hmm. You don't want to get too close because then you start messing with their environment and their natural habitat and behaviors. So, you know, I try to stay away and respect them as much as I can and just use my zoom lens.
So they're on this island and they just graze? They eat whatever is on the island, or is somebody feeding them?
Oh, no. They're 100% wild. No veterinary care, no food, whatever they have on the island sustains them. So sometimes you'll see them and they're a little skinny, but for the most part, they manage, and there is grass on the island that they nub down. They either have freshwater ponds on the island, or they actually can dig in the sand. They can smell the water and they'll dig through the sand to get to the water. It's pretty interesting.
So not only do you love wild horses, you love the beach. Now, so when you go to that island, is there a beach there too?
Oh, yes, because it's an island. So part of the island is on the sound side, and the other part is on the beach side. Oh. So, and there are two ferries that actually go over to the island. One is on the Beaufort side and one is on Harker's Island. Is if you go to the Harker Island side, then that's where the lighthouse is, which really makes a beautiful scenery. There's actually water separating the island from Cape Lookout Lighthouse, but you can get some really nice pictures with that in the background.
Let me ask you a question. Let's talk about faith a minute.
Sure.
Tell us your salvation experience. Give us your life story in 5 minutes.
Okay. When I was a child, we would go to church, and then I kind of broke away from church for a while, and then I went back, broke away, then I started going back again, and then I actually realized that there was more to going to church. There was a whole spiritual piece that I had been missing all those years, and I would go to church, I would feel happy, I would sing the songs, and then I'd go home, feel good for a couple of days, and I would leave. Mm-hmm. But as I grew older, I was going through a divorce. I started going to church before I got the divorce. And then as I was going through my divorce, I remember just going and listening to the sermons, and I would just start crying because they would just touch my heartstrings. And an interesting thing, the church I was attending had two paintings above the altar. One of them was a spring colored painting that was green leaves. The other one had fall leaves, and I would always gravitate toward looking at the fall leaves. And as I was going through my divorce and my spirituality was increasing, I naturally gravitated to looking toward the spring leaves. And then one day it dawned on me, wow, there's some significance there. One day, and I was hurting, and it was fall, and I was kind of broken and falling apart. And then God put me back together again, and then I gravitated to looking at the spring picture. It was kind of neat.
Well, spring is the season of new life. It is, and it's like a new life.
And then there's this whole spirituality piece that I was missing that I have now, and I'm so appreciative to God for everything He's done for me. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't challenges, because there are.
No, you're living the dream. You got wild horses, you're riding,
beaches. A
you're
mom who lives at the beach.
Are you a beach bum? Yeah, at least
Absolutely.
you have to. Yeah, I get it. Well,
except for I'm not the person who lays on the beach and tries to get a tan. I'm the one with the backpack hiking for wild horses.
okay. Well, that's good. I hate the beach. I can't stand it. There's nothing about the beach. Well, there is, but we're not going to talk about it here. The Jorge, I have to congratulate you. A lot of people, when faced with a crisis, they tend to run away from the church, especially in divorce situations, because so often they don't want to go to church because they already know what we're going to say. Is you shouldn't, but your case was a little different. You ran toward God, and how did the church receive you?
Actually, sometimes I was the only one that would sit in my entire pew. I would be alone, and people would be around me and behind me, and talk about feeling alone in a crowd sometimes. But eventually, that started to change, and people started getting closer to me. And on every other weekend when I had my children, they would come and they would sit next to me. It was kind of hard going alone, but I made it through, and now I belong to a wonderful church that actually it's more crowded, and there are people that sit next to me now.
Right. Oh, you got more interesting, is what it is.
It must be the horses,
yeah.
Right?
You stopped blogging, and people started liking you better.
That's a good excuse not to blog again.
Well, blogging is not the way to find a mate. It's tough though in many ways. There's some churches I know that really reach out and minister to what I would call separated people. And separated doesn't necessarily mean from a marriage. It could mean that they've lost a spouse. And the tough days that this church really stands out is the holidays. July 4th, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Those days are particularly hard because it's living single in a double's world, in a couple's world, can be tough, can't it?
It sure can. And one thing I learned to do too, if I didn't feel like sitting alone on the weekends that I didn't have my children there, and if nobody was sitting next to me, I started serving. And that would keep me busy, but still keep me involved in this, the church, and I would still be able to listen to the sermon, and that's helped me a lot.
When you say serving, tell me what you were doing.
Actually, I'm part of the welcome committee. Oh. So I smile at people when they walk in, and I welcome them and make sure they have a friendly experience, because you never know when the last time they've seen somebody smile to them or even talk to them. You don't know what they faced before they came in. So our goal is to try to have everybody come in and feel welcomed. And then lately I've been working in the nursery. So I've done that twice now. And
you can have
little cute little babies.
Yeah, you can do that anytime you want. So that I want, when it's my turn, I'll just say, call Lori. She likes doing that.
I love it. Except for last time, 3 babies all started crying at one time, and there were 2 of us in there. It was a little exciting for a little bit.
Well, I don't mind serving in the church, but one time I was asked to wash dishes after a big banquet thingy, So first thing I did was broke 2 dishes, and they intervened and said, "You don't have to wash dishes anymore." I said, "Great, it worked."
You better be careful; they might put you in the nursery. But they wouldn't want you to break the babies or anything.
They know me too well to do that. Well, it's just great that it's not that you were really that disconnected from the church, but the point is, when things come up in our lives, that's what the church is supposed to be there for. We're supposed to be a hospital for the wounded, and sometimes we do a great job, and sometimes we've got a lot of improvement to make, but it's worked out well for you, though.
Yes, but a lot of it is I had to be interactive with other people, and I had to get into a small group, and I had to start serving. That's how I met people. And honestly, I try to write that. I write middle grade fiction as well as women's fiction and contemporary romance, but I try to put elements of the church or Christianity in my writing. But I really feel like my calling is not to be preachy to anybody. It's just to be positive and try to instill hope in people. And living the everyday Christian life without being preachy. And so that's what I try to put in my books, just so that it can give people hope again.
I think we all get discouraged when someone is discouraged. You say you want to offer hope. What would you offer to them if they say, "I'm just not cut out for this"? What would you tell somebody like that?
If they're not cut out for church,
For right,
or just something in
or
general.
anything. What if they're just down on themselves? That's the way the devil wants us to be: depressed, sad, angry.
And when you're a writer, you get a lot of rejection, and there are times where I know personally I'll be really pumped up, and then I'll get a rejection, and I've learned to just give myself 24 hours to feel sorry for myself and to be in a really yucky mood. And then I try to spoil myself. I'll take a long hot bath, read a book, whatever it takes. But I try to give myself 24 hours before I try to snap out of it and let go of those feelings. But I would just tell people to hang in there and just to keep on trying, and eventually it has to happen.
Well, the Bible talks about casting our worries upon the Lord because He cares for us. Now, notice that the Bible didn't say, "Don't worry." The fact that it says, "Cast your worries upon the Lord," presupposes that you have worries. So, in order to fully obey that scripture, I think we do have to worry. In fact, did you know I had two majors at the People's Republic of Florida State University, the Berkeley of the South. One was psychology. And in psychology, I learned that 90% of the things that we worry about never happen. Did you know that?
I've learned that, yes.
And when the professor
And
said that,
it's true.
it is true. And I raised my hand and told the professor, because I'm also a scientist, I said, well, that makes worry 90% effective. We should worry then, right? Because 90% of the things we worry about don't happen. So by worrying about it, you're increasing.
Or oftentimes I pray and ask God just to take my anxiety and hold on to it for me so I don't have to worry about that. And then sometimes I even ask Him just to keep it and not give that back to me. And He usually does.
Well, Lori, listen, are you ever going to come back and do this again? When are we going to see you again? We're going to talk about that dog from Hawaii.
Whenever it works for you.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll just, one night when somebody doesn't show up, I'll just call you, and you can do it with your PJs on or whatever, But, hey, listen, I appreciate you. Lori, you reached out to me. I'm way behind on producing a lot of that stuff. But you had a new cover for your book or something intervened, and you reached out. I'm glad you did. I really am glad you did.
I am too.
Because, we've had some interesting conversations getting ready for this, and it's just great to connect with other Christians that are out there doing it, and I look forward to it. I really do.
And I'm really glad my hair's not green today.
Folks, for those of you who now let me give Lori a compliment. I know her mom's listening, so I'm gonna. Mom, you got
So
a great dog.
Nice?
Yeah, I'm gonna be nice. Very few people that have been on this show take it to the level of seriousness that Lori has. And folks, we have fun here, and I want to, but folks, the mission here is very, very serious. What we do is simply share our walk with the Lord. And it's just a conversation that other people can listen to and hopefully draw strength from and be empowered and give them hope. Anyway, but Lori actually got a green screen and the lights that go with it so that she can have her wild horses, back there. But Lori, I commend you for taking it that serious. I don't know what the Lord has in store for my future or yours or anybody else's, but I do know this. I do know that Jeremiah 29:11 says, He has plans to prosper us, not to harm us. Plans to give us hope and a future. And Lori, it's just great to have you on the team, and I can't wait till we do this again.
Me too.
In 1 minute or less, let's wind it up. Anybody you want to thank, say hello to, or whatever? Just kind of kill a minute before we go off the air.
I give my mom thanks for being a writer and inspiring me to write too. And I give my my deceased grandfather credit because he always told me, hey, stop talking about it and just do it. So I'm doing it.
Good for you, Lori.
And I'm pretty sure he's looking down on me, and I hope he's proud.
I'm pretty sure he's proud. I'm pretty sure. If he's not, the rest of us are. I want to say a special thank you for all of you who joined us live. Now, if you're watching this recorded, we love you too. but thanks especially to those who visit us at patriotjournalist.com and come join the chat room. Lori, thanks a lot for joining us tonight, and can't wait to do this again.
Thank you for having me on here.
All righty. Oh, man, that was fun. I love doing this. I'd rather do this and eat when I'm hungry. Lori thinks I'm talking to her. Lori, I am talking to Lori too, but no, you guys out there, this is a lot of fun. You too, Lori. All right? She can hear me, you can't hear her, and you ought to hear the stuff. Yeah, I might have to take my earplugs out, okay, because it's getting pretty raunchy. Doug Carter is with us. Good to see you again, Doug. Hazards 4. Folks, Friday night, special night. Hazards 4 runs the show that night. Come check it out. Marilyn Acker, that would be Lori's mom. Welcome, Marilyn. Rachel Colby. I forgot where she's from. I'll tell you what, she's from Jamaica. I remember that part. And Sunbelt Girl, my producer and handler and agent and all that. And constant companion since day one. That was back in 2011, folks. That's pretty steady, you know what I mean? And Tammy from Georgia, our PJNet cheerleader. And there's some other people hanging out in the balcony, not logged in. Hi, balcony hanger-outers. Glad you're here. Don't ever feel like you have to log in to be a part of this. We welcome everybody. And you know what? We're not done. In just a few moments, we will be joined live by Michelle Medlock Adams, who is right smack in the middle of a Platinum Faith live conference. Ooh, I know that sounded loud out there. I am so sorry. They're doing something. She'll tell us about it, but she's going to have to kind of break away from that, but she's going to do that to be with us. So please stay tuned as PJNet Live continues.